What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy, having a great day so far, and of course testing negative for the viruses if you had to take a test. It is time now for the Monday edition of the Virus Update for Monday, September 15th, 2025. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick. Let's face it, there's a lot of different viruses out there. You need to be informed of what's going on with them. Give me the next 15 to 20 minutes to inform you of what's going on with COVID and other viruses. Want to stay informed? If you're new here, subscribe to my channel down below. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and of course share this video with anyone you know. Alrighty, as you heard, it's going to be about a 15 to 20 minute video today. Several things in the news category and some other stuff to take a look at, including a one-day early update from Pennsylvania, which I think is rather interesting. It's kind of good news, bad news. And if there's any time at the end, we will take a look at a few wastewater sites. Starting off with the weekly B&O update for COVID. This COVID wave that's persisting here in the United States. Well, get this. New cases, 156,500. That is just an estimate from reported totals. That is not the estimate we would see from wastewater. More on that in just a little bit. Admissions in the hospital. Almost 11,000. 10,955, up by 9%. In the hospital, 7,952. That's up by 16%. Both of those numbers are different from what we see from CJS. Everyone calculates their numbers different. So that's why you're going to see different numbers. In the ICU, 1,040 people. That is up by 17%. The fact that is up by 17% tells me that the death wave is not done growing. We're seeing a death wave with this particular wave of COVID. In fact, B&O News says there were 412 new deaths last week. Again, I don't know where they're getting all their data. If you recall, CJS told us, Charles, told us that the CDC did not update some certain things. I don't know. Maybe they finally did over the weekend and something will pop up. But the point to be made here is B&O News found something, and they found there were 412 deaths this week. And remember, I believe it was California, did have a 2-week death total. I imagine that goes into part of that as well. And again, with the ICU number rising, that's concerning. That's telling me deaths are going to possibly go even higher yet with this wave. This is 2025 summer wave. People are still dying of COVID. The average is 309 deaths, up by 18%. Again, some of that number could be inflated by the fact that California had a 2-week total, but again, we may see something similar next week. All right, weekly COVID cases are now the highest level since February, but appear to have peaked in the southern states while still rising in the north. Emergency department visits are elevated in children and the elderly. So it's the younger ages and it's the older ages. In between, not as much as those ages. So far this year, there have been 4.1 million COVID cases have been reported in the U.S., causing 291,422 hospitalizations and 18,273 deaths. Again, deaths rising is concerning at this point, which shows, yes, some people still get seriously ill from COVID. And of course, there's one number here that is not included, which you'll never have an accurate number for. It's the number of new people that went on to get long COVID in the past week. That's in the thousands as well. So, yes, COVID is still a big problem. Already, speaking of COVID being a problem, I mentioned the actual, probably real estimate number of cases based on wastewater. Well, here it is. This is Jelly Roll Blues. He posted this on Friday. We're just getting around to it now. I'm just noticing it now, to be honest with you. And he said, the Friday wastewater dump has come in again. We have hit 1.24 million cases as of September 7th, 2025. Someone said we'll hit 600K. We touched on that over the weekend, how there is someone out there saying that the cases are, it's only 600,000. It's not over a million. Yes, I'm not going to say who that is. It's someone we have showed here on the channel before. They must only be looking at half the country, and he uses the MAPS model. He helps update the maps model. This Jelly Roll Blues does. That's who we're talking about here. Is still performing well, he says. The correlation coefficient between maps and 2025 NDIS is 0.94, so that's pretty good. And preliminary estimates here. You can see here. There's the model. There's the estimate. Doing very well. The model did show there being this increase, this bigger increase that we saw the past week. And it shows a drop, but I want to draw your attention to the end of the forecast period. As we start to enter October. Take a look at that there. Yeah, the drop actually stalls and meanders, and heck, that almost looks like it goes up a little bit at times. Yeah, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And if we do follow 2023, which at that point we'd be higher than 2023, well, that shows you, take a look, by the end of October, we would start going up again. Yeah, rather interesting. We'll have a comparison of our own of some sort. But we'll have to see if our channel data. Remember, I've showed you in the past, analytics here of my channel often tell us what's happening with the wave, sometimes just by how many views our videos get. We'll have to see if that's still the case. There may now be a disconnect. I don't know. Every time I think there's a disconnect, it goes back to looking like, oh no, the data from the channel is matching what's happening here in the United States. We can't talk about other countries because I don't think my data really reflects it. Although, with that said, there was one case where it did, and that was back in late spring, early summer, when Asia was going up so fast from these newer variants. It did reflect in the data here, and we were actually getting, I believe we were getting more viewers from that region, because we were getting more comments from there at the time, which ultimately means that more people are viewing from there. All right, moving on. Mike Honey now. Here's the latest variant picture with a global scope to late August. Growth of XFG Stratus has stalled at 61%. The NB.1.8.1 Nimbus variant of COVID grew slightly to 27% here around the world. So, yeah, you can see that did grow a little bit. XFG, not so much anymore. All right, moving on. Yes, we also have Mike Honey with his assessment for the United States. The XFG Stratus variant peaked at 78% and then fell back slightly to a 76% frequency. NB.1.8.1 Nimbus grew slightly, finishing at 13%. A lot of the media, I know there was a local radio station here that talked about COVID going up. They talked about the Nimbus variant, and I actually had to message someone to say, hey, actually, it's the Stratus variant that's going up. Yes, I do have some connections with the media sometimes, and I don't know if they went back and the story got corrected or not, but it was actually the Stratus variant that's dominating here in the United States. So if you hear a news story that says Nimbus is what's causing all the cases here this summer, well, now late summer, it's actually the XFG variant, not the NB.1.8.1. Yeah, it's causing some cases. It's not causing the majority of the cases. Alrighty, moving on now to this. Something from the early days of the pandemic, but the news story's just coming out now. Man's COVID infection lasted 2 years, setting a new record. That's right, a person was testing positive for 2 years straight. Now, it looks like he was shedding a normal amount of virus, or his infectious amount was normal compared to other cases, but he just kept testing positive for 2 years. I'm not seeing exactly where this was. I think it was in the United States. I'm not seeing a precise location. But I am seeing he was testing, but he was immunocompromised man. He was testing positive for 750 days with, the symptoms flaring up, and then get a little better, and then flaring up. And, well, as a result, he was hospitalized 5 different times. I don't know what the longest stay was, but this initial positive test for him was back in mid-May of 2020. We have seen some rare cases before, where someone tests positive for a long time. We've never seen one this long. It's the longest one we've ever seen. I believe there may have been someone who was 600 days. And that person actually, I believe, got better, felt better. It just kept testing positive. Again, oh, hello, I'll wake up again. Oh, positive. Groundhog Day, that movie with Bill Murray. Picture that in the state of testing positive again and again. Well, that's kind of what happened here. And it also says here this person may have had the one from 2020, the one that broke the record for 2 years, may have had advanced HIV-1. So, yeah, and mid-2020 is when they believe they contracted COVID. Unbelievable that things like that can happen. All right, moving on here to Pennsylvania. We'll be in Pennsylvania a few times in this video. Wellness at Penn encourages vaccination as influenza-like illness and COVID-19 cases spike. Yeah, the University of Pennsylvania, which is in Philadelphia, it's in the University City section of Philadelphia. There's multiple colleges there. In a statement from Wellness at Penn to the Daily Pennsylvanian, executive director says that they have seen over 150 cases of influenza-like illness and over 30 cases of COVID. And they also say that it's kind of strange that it's happening at this time of year. Gee, don't you think? It really is kind of strange that's happening at this time of year. But I want to draw your attention to this. And I think this is really important. They actually say it here a couple times. We should actually use the search feature. If you're not feeling well, mask up in shared spaces. Cover your coughs. And use good hand hygiene wellness. Yes, they also say things such as, hang on, we're going to type in the word mask. Let's do that, because they actually said something else. And it's just faster for me to find out this. Here it is. Students can also help protect each other by staying home when feeling unwell. And it comes down to this. Even if it's just a cold, your body is signaling a need for rest. Students can and should also use good hygiene practices like washing hands and masking. The fact they mentioned masking twice. Wow. Yeah, you don't see that too often in news stories anymore. Really good there. All right, let's move on to Canada, where there is, a not-so-good news story. This is in Ontario. A class action suit proceeding over a deadly COVID outbreak at a retirement home. We're just going to read a piece of this, and probably just this top piece here, because I'm really alarmed by this. Documents show 73 residents, 71 of whom tested positive for the virus, died at Barrie facility over roughly 6-week period in early 2021. Defendants can still appeal a judge's decision over a 6-week period. They had 71 people die of COVID. If this does not show that we need to protect people in long-term care facilities, I don't know what will. And someone right now is saying, well, it was 2021. It was the variant of then. I don't care what variant it is. I don't care if it's then or now. This should not be happening. We should be preventing cases in long-term care facilities. Cases should not be happening. Clean air, masking. I mean, the second someone tests positive, a community letter should be going out to the family members. Precautions should be taken. No visitors. Clean air, masking. I mean, it's just ridiculous that this happens, and the fact that people make the case saying, well, you can't really judge what happened back then for now. Again, this should not be happening anymore. I don't want to see any more future outbreaks. Trust me, we're not hearing about the outbreaks that are happening right now because COVID doesn't bring ratings to the media. Oh, well, people aren't going to look at our newspaper if we talk about COVID. Nobody cares about that anymore. Yeah, well, guess what? You need to. It's still happening. People are still testing positive. People are still dealing with long COVID. People are still going on to die. Let's talk about another virus for a second. In portions of New York City, yes, there is a case of measles with a potential exposure in the Lower East Side of the city. Yeah, this is not good. This is in Manhattan. So, yes, if you were in that area, that's problematic. There will be a, I'm going to make a post today with today's news stories so you can read, like some of these news stories, you can read the full thing if you want to. Like especially that long-term care facility up there in Ontario. That's just ridiculous. All right, wow, we've taken a lot of time on the news portion of this video, so we're going to skip over taking a look at a couple things today. But we do want to see the Canada's wastewater update. It's been showing the same thing for a while, so I just assume that things just continue to be in the moderate category at this time up in Canada, and that's what it shows. COVID-19 is listed moderate, Flu A is low, Flu B is low, and RSV is listed low at this time. Let's go and take a look at what's going on with the air qualities in the United States. And while we wait for that, let's pause and take a hydration break, shall we? Alrighty, doesn't that feel much better? Take a look at this. We're seeing some improvements here, definitely in the West Coast. You see more green. You still see a few bad areas, But now you're seeing this yellow, just widespread, not absolutely horrific or horrible, but just not great either in the east. And generally misses east of the Mississippi, portions of south like Arkansas, Oklahoma. Then really, you can see here, just general poor air quality extends all the way up into portions of the Northeast, and the Pacific Northwest is dealing with the problem as well. All right, moving on now to taking a look at this. Pinellas County, Florida. Mind you, I have not seen this today, and I'm seeing something I don't like to see. I'm seeing sick person 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Then we're seeing breathing problems a few times. Also seeing cardiac arrest. Yikes, why is it still so busy there? Things should be dropping. Sick person, and I get it. People can get sick with other things, but the fact we're still seeing a high number of sick calls, higher than we saw prior to this summer COVID wave. It's just concerning. All right, Philadelphia on Saturday had 828 EMS incidents. On Sunday, they had 815 EMS incidents. Live look-in shows, wow. Take a look at this. Total EMS calls, 19 calls right now. Yikes, that is not good. Now, we don't usually look at traffic incidents. We are for a second because I think there may be a case of COVID brain. Follow along with me here. And you're not seeing it listed here. You may be seeing it here somewhere. You're seeing head injury. Yeah, some of these injury. There's a major accident on a major route here. It's called the Northeast Extension. It's part of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It's Interstate 476. A tire actually came off a truck and crushed a vehicle. Repeating, a tire actually flew off a truck and crushed a vehicle. I don't even know how that happens. Was the truck not inspected? Was the tire not put on correct? Think what you will, but think about that for a moment. How often do you hear about a tire just flying off a truck and landing on top of a vehicle? Yeah, it can happen, but it's not something that happens often, and it's created an absolute disaster for traffic. I don't know. Could be COVID brain, that someone didn't put the tire on correct, or it could just be a fluke thing that happened. I honestly do not know. Chester County, Pennsylvania is dealing with some problems here. We do see sick person and respiratory difficulties showing up a few times. Skipping over Bucks County. Their dashboard is not updating and has not updated for several days. Hospital situation in Pennsylvania. You do see here, there's a number of hospitals in the Lehigh Valley. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 hospitals there, some south of there, some north of there in northeast Pennsylvania dealing with problems. Let's just click on some of these. What's going on? Emergency department overcrowding at Penn State Health Holly Spirit Medical Center, and, well, there's a reason why we're seeing things so bad for the hospitals in Pennsylvania. I got to show you this. It's kind of a good news, bad news situation. We'll give you the bad news first. Pennsylvania COVID wastewater. Kind of updated a day earlier. Okay, that's fine. We like to see it update. Here's the bad news. Pennsylvania has gone higher. Just take a look here. You can see here, yeah, they corrected the previous numbers higher. In fact, we're not far off from being listed at high across the state of Pennsylvania. Some slight good news. On the most recent update, it dropped a little bit, but the number is still over 4. So it's still in the moderate category, and it's not far off from high. I don't have it up here. You know what? Let's go in reversal. Let's just utilize X, and I got to show you something from yesterday. I'm concerned Pennsylvania is going to go higher. I'm going to have this for you here. Take a look at this. It was a really big weekend for big events in Pennsylvania. You had the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. You had a huge attendance up at Penn State this weekend of 109,516 people, which, by the way, Penn State played Villanova. That's the largest crowd Villanova ever played in front of a big super spreading event. That's not good. You can see here, look what the traffic looked like there. And there were other events that went on. Phillies here in southeast Pennsylvania, sold out games. Renaissance Fair was packed this weekend. That's kind of like a medieval type thing. I'm concerned Pennsylvania may even go even higher, but we're in the dark. The wastewater site up there in State College, Pennsylvania, does not exist at the moment. It is offline. Taking a look at New York State, another 903 new cases. That average line, though you can see it slowed off, I would not be surprised if we start seeing that go up even a little more. I don't know if they have peaked yet. I could be wrong. Maybe they have peaked, but things still look to be bad in New York State. The latest cases, 406 people hospitalized, 46 people in the ICU at this time. All right, let's just take a look at some wastewater. Newark, New Jersey for COVID is medium, and that is still rising at this time. Another reason why I think New York State, or at least New York City, may not be done yet. Let's go somewhere out on the West Coast. We just talked a ton about the Northeast there for a while, and we got to be fair. Let's go to Sacramento. And we can see Sacramento is still listed as high for COVID in wastewater at this time. And let's see what's going on with the measles. They had some measles detection back in June. Nothing new there yet. Norovirus is trending up slightly. In fact, if we take a look at the regional trends here on wastewater scan, we can see norovirus, for the most part, aside from the Midwest region, yeah, it is trending upward. So, hearing about increased norovirus, you're going to probably start to see more news stories for that pretty soon. Let's go down to Florida. Look at this. Still high in Florida at the majority of the wastewater sites. What is New Orleans doing? We haven't checked up on that in a little while. And New Orleans, thankfully, though still high, is coming down. So still risky. It's just these levels got to come down from the really high state they are. West Bank, New Orleans, yeah, that's still high as well, but it is dropping ever so slightly. Let's go up to the Midwest region, and we'll just do that as a whole and see what's going on there. Hey, it looks like maybe COVID has peaked on wastewater scan in the Midwest region. That is coming down at this time. And we can see here that everything else is doing pretty good at this point. No real big increase yet for norovirus. That's actually dropped a little bit. Again, that's a wonky movement. You take that out, yeah, there's a minor increase there. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Monday edition of the Virus Up. If you enjoyed today's update, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know. Leave your comments down below, and if you could, tell me where you're from. I always love to see where everyone is from who watches my videos. And, of course, ways to support the channel are listed down below. I will see everyone again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone. Have a fantastic Monday afternoon, and thanks for watching.